Do you struggle with truly having accountability and discipline and motivation in your entrepreneurial journey? I know we've all been there. It is a struggle. But in today's video, I'm going to sit down with a powerful business mindset coach and strategist, and she is going to walk you through 3 powerful habits that if you adopt, you too can have an accountability mindset that will take your entrepreneurial journey from blah to amazing. You ready? Me too. Let's get to work. All right, guys, welcome back to CPTV. Today, I am so excited to have Rondell Adams Snipe in the CPTV studios to drop some expert mindset knowledge on all of you. Rondell is a mom, she's a wife, she's a nurse, and she's a business coach. She owns 2 businesses currently. And the first one is centered around accessories for healthcare workers and the community in which she has worked for a number of years. But the second business was formed as a result of her own struggles during her journey into entrepreneurship. She learned a lot of lessons along the way and found her purpose in helping others navigate through that journey. And she provides resources, training, and mindset support to entrepreneurs. Her passion is serving, and her focus is assisting moms in making passive income so that they can go from struggling to secure. Welcome to CPTV. Hey, Rondell.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you. And we're talking about one of my favorite topics of all, which I think is the first step. I always tell people when I'm talking about the steps to starting your business, the very first step is to get your mind right? It's just to get that mindset together, not just in the beginning, but it's going to be a constant. You got to constantly, I just told Drew before we got started, like, girl, get my mind all the way right. Y'all would have seen the chaos that was happening in the CPTV studios, y'all. We had a power thingy, a surge, everything shut down, and I had to get my mindset all the way together. I broke out in a sweat because y'all know I get hot. It is crazy around here, but my mind, Rondell's like, calm down, it's okay. So she's already kind of doing that coaching with me this morning. And I am hoping that she's able to definitely drop some gems and spill all the tea on having a mindset that will not only get you started in business, but ultimately keep you going in business. Because that's really, truly the name of the game, to just keep swimming.
You know what you got to do?
I don't want to know what you got to do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
like my favorite, Finding Nemo was a Dory. I loved Dory and Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. Rondell's going to do that. So let's dive right in, Rondell. And the first thing that I want to kind of start with, because our CPTV family is made up of startup entrepreneurs, startup phase, growth stage entrepreneurs, from all kinds of different industries. And I really want to kind of start them off by understanding, and from your point of view and your expertise, what is the best place to start when you are getting your mind right as an entrepreneur and you're wrapping your mind around the journey, or you're just trying to get through the day-to-day of the journey? What would you say is the best place to start?
So the best place to start is definitely getting rid of perfectionism, for sure. Because we get inside of our own heads saying that it has to be perfect before we put that solution out there to the problem that we realize is occurring. And that really slows down our progress. And we don't understand that if we just put it out there, we can serve our community well, we can make those tweaks along the way, we'll be the first, maybe not the last, but the first ahead of the competition, and just fix it as you go.
Oh, perfectionism can be the death of action. And I've experienced it. I do it. And I always have to say, I have this little thing in the CPTV studios that I can't show right now because we're, kind of on Zoom, but it says imperfectly perfect. And I really feel like getting a t-shirt made and a sweatshirt made and a hoodie that I can wear to remind myself, because I hear it so many times from my students, from my coaches, even from my consulting clients, that perfectionism is the literal, pulls the oil out of your engine. It drains it and dries it completely out. So, I know we talked about this before, and you said some things that I think were really important in that, that done is better than perfect. What do you mean by that?
it leads us when we think that things have to be perfect, we overthink, we overanalyze, we waste so much time. And also just putting it out there shows that you're human. People are going to be drawn to you if you show that normal, regular side of life that's imperfect, that's just a little messy, but you're going to get it right at some point.
Absolutely. I mean, I just had this conversation yesterday about this authenticity trend,
Yeah.
that's out there right now. And everyone's calling it an authenticity trend, but I think it's an authenticity like reality, right? It's like, and I struggle with it. I struggle with just, I'm a Scorpio, so everybody knows that. And we just naturally have problems with being vulnerable and opening up. We just kind of hold everything deep inside. And so a big part of authenticity is telling your story and opening people up to your hardships
Yes.
and what you've overcome. And even when it came time to me to understand that I needed to start telling my story, I didn't tell it because I wanted the story to be perfect. I'm like, no,
Okay.
I'm not about to tell them all of these details, because this is not a business. And then I'm like, it's also gonna like show weakness, and it's gonna show, and I also I hate a pity party. I'm just not a pity party kind of girl. So that perfectionism will get you. It has slowed me down so many times in my entrepreneurial journey. When I first launched my digital courses and my online courses, I wanted them to be like superbly perfect. I wanted everything to be perfect, and it just stalled me. So I think you said something that was really significant to me as well, like taking ownership of your mistakes and realizing like that mistakes aren't failures, they're learning lessons, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that I think helps with that perfectionism that people expect to always have, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. I call those lessons as well. I don't call those mistakes. I don't call failures anything other than a lesson as well, because in order to grow, you have to put things out there that are not exactly the best version. And it not only allows you to have a better version in the long run, but it allows you to be a better version of yourself. Because then you can look back and say, oh my gosh, I've came so far. Remember when I did my first digital product to now I'm on digital product number 18, and I can see the growth in real time of how far I came. So please get rid of the perfectionism. I know you want it to just be right, but I can assure you, if you just start, you will grow as you go along.
Oh God, that's a huge mindset shift, especially for a lot of entrepreneurs who are just starting, because you're kind of conditioned in your current job. Because most entrepreneurs who are just starting, their businesses are still like their side hustles, or they're just
Yeah.
going into the business. And
Yep.
you're kind of like brainwashed at your corporate gig to like, you got this whole performance review structure and this whole like boss or supervisor type of structure, and someone else is always evaluating your every move.
Yep.
And that kind of becomes a part of our basic conditioning. Well, the difference, I think, when you step into your own as an entrepreneur is that there isn't anybody kind of monitoring your every move. So you automatically jump into that role for yourself and become like your own,
Yeah.
supervisor or boss.
You're in
You don't, even,
charge.
you don't even cut yourself the slack that you were hoping the other boss cut yourself. So
Yeah.
I think that's significant. That perfectionism mindset, work on it, y'all. Work on it. We know it ain't easy. We never said it was going to be easy, but it's totally worth it, because it will at least move you forward. And you learn so much when you do imperfectly. Don't you think? I mean, I learned so much just
Yeah.
by doing, and it actually teaches me what I need to do in order to get it perfect.
Mhm.
There's no way to
Absolutely.
describe it. So that's one really good habit. Let's talk about like habit number 3 number 2, besides perfectionism, in that mindset, focus, and that mindset, just skill set. How do you, what's the second thing that you would say will help an entrepreneur adopt that accountability and that mindset that they need to truly be successful?
Number 2 is understanding your priorities.
Mm.
There are going to be lots of things that you need to work on along your journey. but you need to set your goals to keep yourself on track. And also, it gives you a visualization of what your end result will be. So take some time, assess your plan, write it all out, and then work on it in smaller chunks. That way, you're able to digest it and it's not as daunting. And feel free to pin this. What I do is I plan my year and then I break that up by month. And then I break that up by creating a daily list of what needs to be done. And that's how I knock my goals out.
Oh yeah. I love, I think I did a actual video or a post or something, and I got a lot of feedback on it. My team was like, you got to go in and respond to some of these, because I actually showed people my crazy inside the technology of the mind of a crazy person of CP, and it was my project management software, which when we do our annual growth strategy, which I just kind of finished this huge growth strategy boot camp and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of you were in it. My annual growth strategy breaks down my overall goals into specific strategies to accomplish each goal, into specific action items in order to accomplish the strategy. And then we take all of those action items and we plug it into my project management software, because, you know, different people on my team are responsible for different aspects of it. And so the other day, I actually took a screenshot of the actual rolling through of it and said, here are all of the action items. Like, what is this, y'all? You are looking at my action items. It looked like hundreds of them were in there, but the deadline dates in there, we get the email reminders, and it's really how we move the needle in the business. The growth planning process for me, and I got so much of this feedback from the boot camp, was when you understand your priorities, it gives you so much clarity and it removes that anxiety, right? That overwhelm that you feel, not stressing yourself out about the non-priorities you've mentioned, and then getting out of your own head. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. And something that's big for me is, so as an entrepreneur, you feel like you have to do everything yourself, but that's not always true. And if it's not your area of expertise, delegate that task to someone who is way more experienced than you, who can get it done in a shorter amount of time. They're more efficient with it. And that way you can focus on what really needs to get done. You can be the mastermind of your business. And so that ties in with the perfectionism, as well as just understanding what needs to be a priority for that day.
Getting out of your head and is so, I got to get out of my head. Like you had to help me get out of my head before we got started, because I was literally going through when the power went out. I was literally going through, first of all, like, where am I? Am I in a are we under attack? Like, that was my first dramatic thought process. Or we're under attack. And then secondly, I was like, oh my God, if it doesn't come back on, then what? And then I literally started like talking myself into a state of anxiety, all in my head. I didn't say any of it out loud. So everybody else in the office is like, oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and get me another cup of coffee and chill out until it comes back on. I'm like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like, okay, guys, Panera is right down the street. We're gonna snatch up our laptops. I'm thinking of the next step. And you were like, it's okay, get out of your head, that head of yours can do some damage.
And my mom says all the time, she says, everything could be collapsing around you and you're just calm and cool and staying just chill. And I just control what I can. And the rest.
How do you, because you really did, you gave me that calming. Well, I guess that's the coach in you, right? That mindset, that entrepreneur mindset coach in you. How do you stay calm in those crazy? Because you really did. You helped me. You talked me down. I was like, I needed that. How do you stay there?
I just know that things are out of my control, and if they're out of my control, there's absolutely, you can't do anything about the power being off. I mean, unless you're the electrician that's going to go climb the tree and try to put those wires back together. Essentially, there's nothing that you could do. It's kind of like a waiting game. So I would just redirect my focus into something else that I can do. And it's a practice. You really do have to work on it consistently. But I realized that once I start with like one thought and then another negative thought comes in, another thought comes in, and you spiral just, like you said, into anxiety. It will drive you crazy.
It really will. It really will. And I think that the mindset piece from an entrepreneur, you don't really understand how important having those specific like 10 things that you have to say to yourself in your head
Yeah.
every day are so important in kind of guiding that day. And I don't remember who I was just having this conversation with, but it was around the fact that once I got my morning routine down pat, where I didn't feel like I was just kind of guessing at what to do, and I laid out, when I wake up in the morning, my alarm goes off. There's like, 3 specific things that I do, and I give myself 45 minutes to an hour to do it every single morning without interruption when my house is still dark, no one else is awake. That morning ritual is so important to functioning during the day. And I think I started it because I realized that most of the millionaires and billionaires in the world have like morning rituals that involve all kinds of stuff. And, mine is my grateful journal, and then I meditate, and then I do my affirmation.
That routine.
Yeah. And I think that that's really important for me to get out of my head, because I go to sleep the night before kind of in my head, already running through all the stuff that I got to do, like for the next day, just kind of running through my list.
Yeah.
And then I wake up in the morning with that same in my head thought, oh my God, this is all the stuff we got to get done today.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that morning routine, I can totally feel the difference. Do you have a morning routine or, specific things that you do to kind of breathe throughout the day besides like your Apple Watch maybe tapping you and telling you to breathe? I've got in the habit of ignoring the Apple Watch. but what about you? Do you have anything that helps you get out of your own head?
So I give myself time to myself in the morning. So without anything interrupting me, not the kids, not my husband, there's no interruptions. It's just complete silence with me. And I do morning devotional. So it's just God and I, and I'm going through prayer. I'm going through the Bible. I'm going through time just to center myself for the day. And like you said, it really just sets the tone for how the rest of my day will go. And if for any reason there's a deviation from that, I find myself wanting to just get back to it. Like, okay, let's just, let me redirect. Okay, can I have another 15 minutes? I just need to finish up this, whatever it was that I was doing. And that really helps me just go through the rest of the day.
Yeah, I used to give myself excuses and say, well, you don't really have a place to do all of that. Like you have to set up a space in your room or in your whatever before you can do that. And I was so over like not having one that I just started doing it right in my bed. So I don't even have to like get out of my bed, because I realize when I get up, then my dogs get up and then they want to like begin. And I'm like, oh no, y'all, I need some space. So I started doing it in my bed. And then I did ultimately kind of create like a little corner with a chair, and I can like put my diffuser on in the morning and like smell some eucalyptus and I kind of created this little space. But you can just do it from your bed. I mean, you can just do it right there. I've got my little journals right on the side of my bed, and I just kind of roll over and put my headphones in and listen to my sounds and breathe. And yeah, it's totally important to getting out of
it. It makes a difference. It really does. It's the little things, the little big things.
So I would definitely tell you guys out there, create a morning routine. Take some of the tips that we just gave you, but create a morning routine that you allow yourself to have some space to just prepare that way. And then you gotta do your affirmations in the mirror. I have mine like taped right next to my mirror. Actually,
I love that.
And I frame them and like, so they look like a picture, but I literally say them as I'm getting dressed in the morning. Just those things that kind of give me a little boost of confidence, a little boost of self-esteem, and a little bit of it's okay, CP. It's all right. Power going out ruined all of that this morning.
I got you.
Ruined all of it. But I think that your third habit that you recommended, that we talked about for entrepreneurs to have that mindset, especially around accountability. That's one of the biggest areas that I would say as a new entrepreneur, or even as a growth stage entrepreneur, but really when you're
Yeah.
just starting out, the hardest thing to be is accountable to your business.
Mhm.
Have the accountability that you need. So much so that people get, like coaches and other people to kind of hold them accountable, especially if they've identified that they don't have the ability to do it themselves. And I would definitely say, if you know that about yourself, keep it real and get you a coach, because
Yes.
getting help to be accountable is absolutely critical. But what would you say is that habit, is that third thing towards that accountability mindset, towards that entrepreneurial mindset that you need in order to really be successful?
So motivation versus discipline is number 3. In order to face those tough times, we have to understand that motivation is probably not enough to keep you going, but discipline is what's going to help you push through, and it creates consistency. And you have to also remember that on the days that you're not motivated, that's when discipline kicks in. It's going to make you do it regardless of how you feel.
And so many people have a problem with discipline, girl.
Yeah.
I think we all have like moments of
Yeah. Yeah. Show yourself grace, but for sure it needs to be done. And as long as you remember your why are you doing this? What is the reason? What's fueling you? What gets you out of bed? What keeps you going? And your why is personal to you. It can be different depending on the person. Some big whys are family, legacy, impact, money.
yeah.
Whatever your why is, let that be your reason for having discipline kick in.
What was your why that from in the beginning for me, my why was sort of, of course, the good stuff, your family and the money and all that stuff. But really my why was I refused to work for this crazy person I was working for anymore. Like I just refuse. I'm like, they will not suck the life out of me and kill
Yeah.
me and walk right over my grave and find somebody else to do this job. That was my motivation every day to continue, especially when I was doing my business as my side hustle.
Yeah.
To actually dedicate the time that I needed to my business was, and I would like go to work every day and I would purposefully walk into this person's office and look them in the face and smile and say, good morning, just so that I could have that reminder of,
Yeah.
girl, when you leave here, you're going to be tired, but you need to go home and work on your business.
And get it done. Yeah.
That face right there. Nah, you can't work for this crazy person. And
Yeah.
of course, there were crazy little reminders, but that was a big why for me to stop working for the crazy person, right? What was your why?
So my why is similar to yours. I am a nurse by trade, and as many of you know, nursing sometimes takes a lot of hours of your day. Speaking for myself, I was losing 10, 12 hours a day away from my family, and then coming home and having to come up with somewhat of a routine at night, because in the afternoon, late afternoon, that I was getting home, and that was doing homework, cooking, cleaning, whatever it is. And I have a partner that my husband's amazing, and he's really great at being a team with me. But there are some things that only you can give to your children that they only want from mommy. And I just could not lose that time away anymore. And I just didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew that that wasn't the life for me. And I still do work as a nurse now. However, it's because I want to, and it's with whatever hours I feel like doing versus the hours that I'm forced to do. So entrepreneurship has allowed me a level of flexibility that I'll forever love.
Yes, that's a big why. And you mentioned that, developing that routine. Kind of when you got home, after working all of those hours, what was
Yeah.
your kind of routine that you and that you developed to stay dedicated and motivated so that you could take that leap and switch and reverse your business from being your part-time gig and your
Yeah.
job being your full-time gig to now it sounds like your business being your full-time gig and the nursing
Yeah.
part being, PRN and your part-time thing. What was some of the routine that you did?
So after all of the family stuff that I had to handle when I came home, I would then allocate business time. And that may look like a few hours into the wee hours of the morning, but I just knew that that's what I needed to do. So the discipline for sure, because I was exhausted at times when I was doing it, but I just knew I wanted more. And so I allowed that discipline to really help me handle my business at night. And I would do it sometimes 3, 4, 5 hours, 6 hours at night. And that's after working 10, 12 hours a day after the family stuff. But I just knew that I wanted more for myself. And that's the key, just that end goal, keeping that in mind is what pushes you even when you don't necessarily have the energy to do it.
Yeah, that why, for sure.
Yeah.
That why I'm doing this, what I'm ultimately, aiming for. And I
Yeah.
think there's a certain amount of committing to yourself the same way that you've committed to others over the years.
Yes.
Like many of us punched a clock, many of us turned in timesheets. And we made sure that we showed up in that parking lot or wherever we were going on time out of some conditioning that prevented us from believing that we, shouldn't give 100% to these other people's dreams. I mean, these other businesses, these other corporations that we work for, it's someone else's dream. Someone else started that because that was their dream. And we have a hard time, I think, just as human beings, especially women. I'm just going to definitely women. I think women, and I've never been a man, obviously, but I would say we have a harder time committing that same self-discipline, that same level of commitment to ourselves and punching that clock for our own businesses and the next level. It's a huge struggle for a lot of startup entrepreneurs and students that I have. And so I love something that you said the other day when we were talking about this and preparing for today. You said, if we take responsibility for other people and that's your space, like that's kind of your zone, don't expect to change that zone. Just think about taking responsibility to serve the people in the world who need what you are creating in your business. I thought that was so profound for me, because a big part of why I do what I do is to empower entrepreneurs. I'm extremely passionate about that. That is a core value. And so when I choose to not work, well, in the beginning, and now when I choose to not work, it's because I need a break, y'all. So, but in the beginning, when I was still working at other job and I was like, I'm just going to leave my business alone for 3 or 4 days and not be consistent in it. That would have been something that really could have motivated me. Oh my God, there's so many entrepreneurs out there who ultimately need this knowledge and need this experience. Taking responsibility to serve the people who need you.
Yeah. When you don't show up, that's one less person that you're impacting. That's one less person that doesn't hear your message. That's one less person that doesn't get what it is that you are giving. And I put a lot on my shoulders for that reason, but I just know that I'm here to serve. It's who I am. It's at the heart of who I've always been. And if I don't show up, that means I don't get to help someone.
And no one wants responsibility for that, right? For not showing up for someone. At least I don't, at least I don't. So
it's a lot of pressure.
That's a motivation right there in itself, even to get through, whether you're a startup entrepreneur or even as you grow, and you will have those late nights. You will have those moments where you are plowing through and plugging through, creating something new because you've identified a need out there. Just keep pushing, because that's your motivation, and that spurs that discipline. That's awesome. I love it. I love this conversation. So obviously we can't make it go on forever and ever, but I know we could spend the next hour or two just talking about mindset. But what would you like to make sure that you're leaving the CPTV audience with regards to that accountability mindset, staying committed to your goals and your dreams, having the mindset that it takes to really move along this entrepreneurial journey as you climb the mountain and get to the top? What would you say?
So if you can believe it, you can achieve it. Please cut out the negative thinking, the not believing that it can happen. You are worthy of accomplishing something great. If that means you have to eliminate the distractions in your life, and that could be persons, places, things, get rid of the distractions. They waste time. You cannot get time back. It's the most valuable asset to an entrepreneur. So understand that it will derail your progress. Put your energy into those persons, places, and things that are supporting of your dream. And if they're not adding to you, they're subtracting from you.
I need you to repeat that so we can get some words on the screen. Say that again. Again.
If they're not adding to you, they are subtracting from you.
Girl, that's an easy way to evaluate everything.
Yeah.
Is this adding to me or is this subtracting from me?
Absolutely. Is this helping me reach my end goal or not? It's just as simple as that. Is the mindless scrolling on social media helping you reach your end goal? Are you doing market research on social media, or are you just intaking nonsense?
Right. Is it fueling your creativity? Are you getting ideas? Are you
Yeah.
actually working
Yeah.
towards something, or are you just, I mean, sometimes mindless, I don't do mindless scrolling, so I can't say scrolling, but mindless book reading for me is like,
Yeah.
love, like, you know, novels and stuff like that. But I mean, I think even in that respect, even as I read my books, sometimes I'm always thinking about the structure and, you know, different things, because one day, you know, I do have a goal of writing a book, you know, into the future. And
That's so good.
I find myself like even evaluating some of my favorite books, how they're set up, and do I prefer audible books and audio books versus, you know, written books. And I love them all. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Eliminate, if it's not serving you,
Yeah.
don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. Don't do he. Don't do she. Don't do they.
At
Don't
all.
do that. All the pronouns.
All the things.
If it's not serving you, don't do it. And it's
No.
okay to say no. It's okay to say no. That's
Yeah.
a biggie. That's a real biggie.
Mhm.
I love that. I love that as a final wish and a final thought. So where can the CPTV family find you?
They can find me in the social media streets for sure. I am on Instagram and Facebook at JKN Consults. And also my website is JKN Fundamentals at, not at. Edit that off.
Love it. JKN Consult on all social. You're on Instagram, Facebook, you know, all the biggies.
The biggies, yes.
All the
And then
biggies.
my website is jknfundamentals.com.
Perfect. You guys, we're going to make sure that we put her socials and her links in the description box below, in the comments below. If you are working or looking or trying to figure out how to get your mind together and how to keep your mind together along your entrepreneurial journey, I would definitely say having a coach that can help you in that space. Y'all know I don't do that. I don't do that part. I mean, I'll give you some advice, but you know, I'm about the systems and the structures and the teams and the processes. I am not about the mindset part. I would definitely say having a mindset coach as you begin to keep you along that path of staying focused. If that is what you need, if you have a hard time doing it yourself, it is worth that investment in your business. Definitely check out Rondell. She is amazing. I mean, you've heard her, just that calming spirit, that calming energy that I think we all need to have a little bit in our lives on a regular basis is for sure where it's at. So I am so excited that you were here today. Thank you so much for having me. Rocking that tea, giving those tips and tools. We appreciate you so much. Guys, don't forget that if you got value out of today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, I know how we get down. And let us know in the comments below what some of the biggest mindset problems or challenges that you face on a daily basis. And I'll get those messages to Rondell. You can also, you know, obviously DM her in her own social, but I'll get those messages to Rondell and see if we can get some answers. And if we get enough of those, we'll bring her back. We'll have some more conversations and dive a little bit deeper into those specific questions and needs. And until next time, my loves, see you soon. Bye. Mwah!